everyone, this is Brittany here with your art fill of the week, and this week I am actually continuing my alphabet character challenge. I started this years ago and I haven't done another character since Isabel in 2023, so it's been a couple of years since I've even done a character for this challenge. And today I decided to continue with the letter J after finding out about Jeff the Shark in Marvel Rivals. And it made a very easy choice for J because I was debating between different characters for the longest time. It started being, well, maybe I should do Princess Jasmine from Aladdin, but then I kind of didn't know where to go from there, and I just never did. And there was also Jasna or Yasna from the Stormlight Archive that I thought about doing based on the book description, but then I never really did because I don't really enjoy creating people as much in my art, or I'm not as good at people. So I chose Jeff the Shark. And as you'll see, I started out in my smaller watercolor sketchbook to just practice getting different poses and just playing around with the colors that I had, my different blues that I could pick, and also what they look like blended with each other, and to just get an idea of how I wanted to create Jeff on a larger page in a different sketchbook, in a mixed media sketchbook that I also have. So I've played Overwatch before, way back when it first started. I never really picked it up again for Overwatch 2. And for Marvel Rivals, I've only played the tutorials ever since finding out about Jeff the Shark. But I definitely am not a competitive player for any game like that or anything. If you can possibly be a casual player of those games, that's more of what I am. I like to play against the AI more than in groups of people, or if I'm playing with friends. I don't really like to play with other online players as much. Even when I played Overwatch, I only really played with my husband or friends. So that's kind of my background with the actual game behind this character. And I know obviously it's Marvel Rivals, so this character is in the Marvel comics, and from what I can look up, Jeff the Shark is actually Gwenpool's pet, and so it's part of Deadpool, I believe. You can correct me in the comments or give me more of the lore on Jeff the Shark if you're a comic book reader. I'm not really a comic book reader, so I know very little of the actual Marvel comics. finish up these little sketch drawings just with a fine liner pen and make Jeff stand out even a little bit more on this page. And then I move on to my mixed media sketchbook, and I put actually the watercolor paint tape around in a square or rectangle first, just have that like white frame to make it look nice. And then I start my sketch and go in with some my tube watercolors that I have, or what was left over of the tube watercolor on that palette that you'll see to the side. So the different blues that I have a mix of Reeves watercolor and also Winsor & Newton watercolor tubes. Reeves are just more of a student grade watercolor, and Winsor & Newton is more of a professional grade. That's the only difference really. So it's just based on quality kind of. But I don't really, between the two, I don't get much of a difference for my personal taste. It might just be as far as light fastness, where basically paint over time will degrade in sunlight or light hitting it. So that's basically maybe what could be the difference that I personally haven't been able to see or be able to tell. But so I'm in on mixed media paper now instead of just watercolor paper, like that smaller sketchbook that I started out on. And I'm hoping to there's a small chunk of pages left in this sketchbook, but I'm hoping to sometime this year be able to give everyone a tour of this sketchbook, because there's plenty of art that I did for other videos from like years ago that I did, and just a bunch of different stuff that you will have seen in other videos, or if you're new that you haven't seen yet, that you'll be like, oh, that's kind of cool, I should go back and check out that video that she made. And here is where I get kind of fun with the background too. I kind of made it almost like a tie-dye orange and purple. It was kind of just, I liked those colors, so I went with that to have some kind of background behind him. And then later I forgot that I probably should add like bubbles or water around him because of the moves he does in the game. So I go back in later and add in some bubbles, and around his feet I put like a water puddle. So here is where I'm adding in those bubbles, and I actually take out my watercolor pencils to do the bubbles over top, because I knew that just putting paint over probably wouldn't be the best for defining the bubbles, since I already had that background layer underneath. So then I went in with watercolor pencils, and after that I added that definition around his feet for that puddle where I wanted that puddle to sit, and then went in with more of the tube watercolor and added to that puddle and tweaked it as I went to make it stand out more as water and to kind of use that base layer, but then also cover up the fact that it was purple and orange underneath, so it was harder to tell and that you could better differentiate from the top background. And after I get all that water puddle painted, I start going in and defining Jeff's face and body more with darker shades of blue and accenting just different features and different shadows and making him more three-dimensional rather than two-dimensional and flat. And here I'm defining his eyes and nostrils better with a black watercolor pencil. And I hope you guys enjoy all the different camera angles I attempted to get through the creation process. I was kind of constantly like working on a section, then kind of when I was about to shift to do something else, I tried a different camera angle. So just all the different angles I hope you appreciate. I'm trying to get kind of different angles to the process because it's kind of fun to get like a closer look at how I'm painting from a different angle, not quite always getting the top down bird's eye angle, so you can kind of see how I'm moving my brush. And here I am defining his collar a little bit better because I plan to write Jeff on his little collar tag like in all the reference photos. And now I'm defining even deeper blues and adding even darker shades to Jeff so that he stands out even more, just to get him just right with how I want his colors to look. And I also touch up that puddle under his feet to add more blue and definition to the puddle, almost like it's moving and like coming out from his feet. And I do decide that I need that bright white for the water and the bubbles especially, just to make it stand out a little bit more and get that bright white. So I get out some of my acrylic paint and add just that little bit of reflection on the water to make it stand out just even a bit more. And then, like I did in the small sketchbook, I define his features even more with a fine line marker. This one is a 0.6. I didn't want to do the 0.5 because I thought it was a little too small, or 0.3 I think I have too, where it's a very fine line. I still wanted a somewhat thick line since he is technically a comic book character. I just didn't draw him in a comic book style. And I finish out by writing his name on his collar and peeling off that tape around the paper to get that nice white frame. And I hope you enjoyed this fan art video. I hope to do the next letter, which will be the letter K, next month. So if you have any suggestions for characters with the letter K, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, give this video a like and subscribe for more art videos like this. And I will see you in next week's video.